Good day, sir.
Yeah, good afternoon. How are you?
Fine, thank you. So,
Hello. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you very much. This is a very good Saturday. The weather is snowing. It's snowing here in my state, so it's cold outside, but we know our people are still striving. Okay, in Ambazonia. Thank you for joining. Thank you for joining. I want to say that we had a very long battle for the past 6 years. We have been trying to put things together. We have had a lot of ups and downs. We have seen people come and go. We have seen a lot of things happening in the struggle. But I want to say that it is nice to see those people who are really resilient in the struggle, because people who think that this struggle will be for 1 week, 1 year, they could not stay long. Some of them have backslided. Some of them are still looking at what can be done for them to come back. Some of them don't no longer contribute. But when you are a fighter, when you are a freedom fighter, you never give up. That is what you have to know. You never give up the fight. Okay. Bob Marley said, "Those who live to fight and run away, live to fight another day." If you fight this fight, you think that you are gonna run away. Know that it will come back. If it don't come back to you, it will come back to your children or your children's children. Because this thing is generational. Yeah, this thing is generational. It's not about us. That is why I don't have problem with anybody. I don't have time to be quarreling with anybody, because nobody brought me to the struggle. I have the zeal. I have the will to free my people. I never came here for money, for people, for anything. Yes, I have my own passion and my own vision for the struggle. So I don't have problem with anybody. I will never be angry with anybody in this struggle. I will never stop talking to anybody in this struggle. I see people doing all those nonsense. It's just crap. Look at the big picture. What are you fighting for? What is the goal of your fight, or of you being in this struggle? Think about it. This has nothing to do with anybody. Nothing. This is not about any leader, any person that you waste your time and you say you are being partisan, you are being sympathetic. That is waste of time. If you're in this struggle, you know why you are in this struggle. This has nothing to do with anybody. It has nothing. This is not about Sako or President Chris Ano or Marianta, or not about them. It's about you. What you think you can do to save your people. That is the goal. Stop wasting your time to be defending people. Stop wasting that time. Stop wasting that time. It's a waste of time and energy for nothing. No, you don't know why you are in this struggle. This struggle is not about anybody, because all of us will pass and go. All of us will pass and go. Our legacy will remain behind. What have you left for the struggle? What did you leave behind? That all become history. All will become history. So if you want to spend your time to be doing innuendos, to be doing propaganda, to be doing all those things, you're wasting your own energy for nothing. Spend your time well. That's generally, you don't waste time on things that are not on irrelevant things. At work, at school, at home, in your daily life, stop wasting your time for nothing. Be constructive. Even your arguments, even your debates, with the people you surround yourself with, all matters. all matters. So if you want to spend your time with people who are just there to say trash, garbage, there you go. Keep going with them. But if you want to be constructive, you look for people who are constructive. If you want to look for people who can help you in your career, you look for people who can help you in your career. You will not waste time with people who spend time on garbage. That is not benefiting you for nothing. Yes, it's a waste of time and energy. We are all grown-ups. We have kids. Our children are looking at us. That every day you wake up, you see your children. We are all adults. Some people like to say they are youths. Your youths are what age? In America, youths 18 years old. After 18, you are no more youths. I hear people say, "Oh, we are youths." You read a youth. What youths? Youths at 30. Youths, you cannot be youths at 30. Youth at 30, that's when you already got married and have some kids, children. You call yourself youth. Their children will be called what? It is this struggle is not about anybody. This struggle is about us. Yes, until we have that on the back of our mind, we will spend time talking about people, talking about things that are not necessary. Yes. GBHS Eyomo Jock is on fire. We know this is very clear. La Republique spend time on this because they think that by burning this school, they will make our people continue to suffer. Okay. For the past years, we have known that La Republique uses these schools for their barracks. They have taken all these schools for barracks. So burning this one is just like the same thing because the other schools they still use them for their barracks. Okay, so it doesn't change anything because they have been using the schools for their own purposes. Okay, their torture chamber, their camp where they rape girls. You hear this is Eyomo Jock. They went there, they burned the school, they kidnapped some students. Okay, if this is not the height of barbarism, we have seen everything. So this one is not strange. Okay, you saw what they did in schools across Amazonia. They have burned so many schools, they have burned so many houses. So this one is not new. Okay, this one just add to what they have been doing for the past years on our people. It doesn't change anything. Okay, it doesn't change anything. We know what they can do. We know what they cannot do. We know what our Republic can do. It's capable of doing. Okay.
Is the library, everything down, computers all. All the photocopy machines.
That's what La Republique is good at. Burning library where you have books. You see what they're doing? This is a whole library. Okay. It's sad, but that's what is happening.
Ah,
Jesus! No problem. We are joking. Can I talk?
That's it for you, you know. That is the work of La
newly
Republic.
renovated administrative block was set ablaze. The newly renovated block by the ex-UME staff. Oyman, sister, Oyman. This is the newly renovated block at the UME stand. It's a principal's office, everything put at place. All the computers. Photocopy machines.
As a boss, I own and rules. That has made their own. You own a vice principal office.
The vice principal office. Here's the boss's office.
Wow. It's really sad, you know, but that is what is happening. Yep. Yeah, that is what happened when people don't care about people's well-being. Okay, nobody cares, because if somebody care, they won't be doing this to a people. They won't be doing this to a people. Yeah, burning a school is sad, but that's what's happening. So, you cannot. Yes, we know that there is the BIA has declared what we call holiday. They call it. They say I think the 24th or the days that the Lions are playing. Okay, but we are watching what game when we have people that have been killed like this. Look at our people that have been slaughtered. Okay, we cannot we cannot be jubilating or watching soccer when we are in war, when our people are still being killed every day. It is not our place to do that, because we know that it's not right, because our people are still suffering. Our people are still in refugee camps. Okay, so the days that Bia said is public holiday will be normal days for Ambazonia. Will not follow their public holidays. 24th, 28th, and the 3rd is Bia has declared it public holiday, but we will not follow that, because it has nothing to do with us, because it is a day when they are rejoicing while our people are suffering. We cannot follow that. Yes. If they want to really stop this fight, they can stop it, but they don't want, because they really want to colonize our people. That is what they want, because they declared the war, so they don't want to stop the fight. So we're just saying that because you have seen what is going on, right? They don't care. They don't care about the war. They don't care. They are doing their thing. You saw the Nation Cup that happened there. Nobody cared. They came and they brought the people from Douala to come and fill the stadiums in Victoria. But all those are happening because they want to claim the land. They want to claim our land. They want to claim ownership. And if we don't fight it back, these guys, so yeah, our able prophet mentioned this the release of Ayuk Tabe, and he said that there will be some declaration,
yes,
right?
I saw a letter to Cameroon from UN. There's a decree for the release of prisoners. This letter is a strict letter, a very strict letter. Yes, strict letter from UN. What is happening, you will see it.
That's a letter from the UN Human Rights Council. Yes. Yeah. So, we know of the talks going on in Canada, right? Everybody knows about that. But people always ask why waste time in discussions that has little or nothing to do with the struggle, or the root causes of the struggle, because we knew that the talk in Canada was not really for some relevance. Okay, it has nothing to do with that. Okay. The real talk was the one that has an international mediator. Okay. It baffles me when people are happy that they went to Canada and you went to Canada to drink wine or to drink some champagne there. It doesn't. That is why the interim government made it clear that they are not going to Canada. They are not going to Canada. Yes.
For the talks that is going on in Canada anyway, if people going in for that talk, if they know that La République is very genuine, let them go ahead. Because La République cannot withdraw from talks. in Switzerland, then and call their own talk in Canada, and we go there divided.
Hold on there, hold on there, comrade. Hold on there, comrade. The Swiss called for talks. Ambazonia was united in ARC. La République refused to go. La République walked out from Swiss, called for his own talks in Canada, and get Ambazonia in factions over in Canada. But also look at this. But also look at this. You know, I wonder whether some of us really mean it when we say we're fighting this fight to gain independence. The Swiss says everything is on the table. Everything. No preconditions. That of a play works. I mean, the same Ambazonians were in Canada. They say no. The Swiss is Paul Biya's country. Now, Paul Biya walks away from the Swiss, goes to Canada and says, I want us to come sit down and discuss the form of government that prevails in Canada between mainland Canada and Quebec. The same without anything having to do with independence and the root causes. The same people who rejected the Swiss, they are now in Canada. So I wonder whether sometimes when people say they are fighting for independence, they actually know what they actually mean it. Go on, please.
Yes, and the point is that the same Palestinians who are calling themselves leaders and calling for unity and ground zero command, they said that every Amazonian should go to Switzerland. So each person who thinks that they are a group to go to Switzerland, imagine that. So each Amazonian, each little fraction, we can end up having like 15 fractions in Switzerland.
Yeah.
And people are talking about unity, to go meet them in the hall for them to dilute us. But when you keep telling them and others tell them, they don't want to listen. That is just my own observation. Thank you so much for what you've been doing to inform Ambazonians.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Appreciate it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I get the last caller. I get a last caller for.
Well, it is very, very sad that we have people who don't understand about this struggle. Imagine you trying to go to a talk that will not help in any way or form the struggle. You go to sit there. I don't know. You have to put those lines. You have to put those boundaries when you are talking about discussions of any kind. Okay, you cannot just go and sit anywhere and they call you like a sheep. You go anywhere they call you. You make yourself cheap. Okay, this thing is about two countries. This thing is not. It's not to go and sit in a bar and drink wine. This thing is not about that. Leaders should start. Leaders should know that by now.
Hey, wonderful. Good to hear your voice. Go on.
Yes, I just wanted to make some few points to reiterate what the other callers have been saying. I had a disturbing call from Warden and comrade that was purely surrogacy.
Yeah,
and
from
this
Ghana.
same surrogacy is also, yes, and this also, surrogacy is also going on even with those in the diaspora, because everybody is talking of unity.
Yeah.
But yet, when you call others to come for us to unify, they tell you to go apologize.
Right. Well, they will wait.
So,
they will wait for eternity for it.
Exactly. So you call us for unity. You say all Ambazonians should come and unify with each other so that we fight together. Then when somebody gives you a hand to come so that we start talking together, you say they should come apologize. Very soon, when you go now to apologize to them, they'll tell you that no, do not exist and listen to them.
Yeah.
That is what is going on. So please, I want each and every Ambazonian who is genuine to just accept the hand or any call for unity for us to come together. We know where all of this is coming from. Then, secondly, for the talks that is going.
They don't want unity. Unity is what the president has been calling, right? You cannot say you want unity, then people say, oh, you have to go apologize for what? Unity of purpose, unity of collaboration, unity that we can have a voice. Okay, it's about that. This is not about let's put the country first. It's about the country. This is not about individuals. It has nothing to do with that. Okay, many diplomats have asked us to have a very solid voice, the unity of purpose. Okay, unity of purpose. Some of these people who think that they can gain something from La Republic, I laugh at them, because if you think that La Republic can give you something, these people who that we know, that we have lived with for 60 years. Oh my God. Anyway, let them be hoping that something can come out from these people. Yes, as their own utopian hope. We call it utopia. That's a country that you just dream of for yourself, that you think that will be, you ever see that kind of country one day for yourself. And when so when I see this newspaper saying that game over for Anglophones, since 2016 that we are fighting, the Guardian Post in that game is over for Anglophones. It's not that they say game is over. These people look at the title, game is over. Since we started this fight, they never knew that the game was over for us. Since that's why we started fighting. So for the past 6 years that we are fighting, they still had hope that they can get something from these people. That's Frank Bia. Frank Bia is going there and having his campaign already. Just what does that tell you? That tell you that those people who are the activists in this struggle, we knew that we had no way in that country anymore. So why should we still be begging for federation? Why should we be begging for crumbs? Why should we stay in a country where you don't have hope? You don't have hope. Your children don't have hope. Nobody has hope there. You are staying there and doing what? For God's sake. Game over for Anglophones. Game is over since 2016. See, now you know that game is over. This Guardian Post, I don't know, they are just writing things sometimes. Then they said Frank Bia, is the purported successor of the father and so on. They went on and write about that. But we have been saying this now, Ambassador. Who do you think will be the next president? So these people, they were having hopes that Anglophone will be president in that country that we know. Our learned Dr. Muzo told us that even though he's a federalist, but we don't have hope in that country, and it's true. He was just being honest. I like honesty sometimes, because when you're honest, it's good. Yes, honesty is good, especially when you know that you don't have hope in a country, but you are fooling people that there is hope. Don't fool people. Stop telling lies. Stop propagating for people who there is no hope there. You are fooling them to support your cause of federation, when you know people don't even want to mention federation. Even the last bit, they don't want to mention it. Even they just call it a decentralization, because they will still manipulate the constitution as it did in 1972. They will manipulate it. Anyone trusting these people, you trust them at their own risks, not at our own risks. We are gone. Trust them at their own risks. not our own risks, because we have learned these people. We know them now, who they are and how trickish they are. Okay.
Nations has called for the immediate release of the CRM political party members who have been detained in Kondengi in Yaoundé, as well as the Anglophone separatist leaders. The United Nations said their arrest and detention is illegal or arbitrary. Let's now have more with Fomi and Sander.
This published on November the 4th, 2022. The United Nations Working Group on Arbitrary Detention wrote that the detention of militants of the Cameroon Renaissance Movement's opposition political party, as well as English-speaking separatist leaders, is arbitrary and they must be released immediately. The organ of the United Nations goes further to say that the detention of these leaders by the government of Cameroon is void of legal basis. The United Nations says the rights of 15 activists of the opposition Cameroon Renaissance Movement CRM political party, including its president, Professor Maurice Kamto, have been flouted. In the case of the 15 CRM party supporters, the United Nations Working Group wrote that their arrest and detention is arbitrary because they were arrested and detained in the course of exercising their freedom of expression and their rights of association. In the case of Ayuk Tabe and 9 others, the United Nations criticizes the fact that they were tried by a military court in violation of the International Covenant of Civil Rights signed by Cameroon. Prosecuted in particular for apology for acts of terrorism, the separatist leader and 9 others were arrested in Nigeria in 2018. Among the violations, according to the United Nations, is their arrest without an arrest warrant and their extradition to Cameroon, whereas they had refugee status. It is, however, uncertain what impact the United Nations opinion will have on the appeal trial of the activists, which should resume on Thursday, the 17th of November 2022. Lawyers for both cases are calling on the Cameroonian authorities to implement the task force's recommendations and release their clients.
These people are just making us laugh. They are hoping that Lad Public will respect those things. Lad Public don't respect. Lad Public don't respect international law, because since the Nigerian court passed a verdict that they should send all the Nera10 and all those people who were arrested in Nigeria illegally back to Nigeria, Lad Public has never respected it. So this one now is just coming to just add to what the Nigerian government has already done long ago. Long ago, the Nigerian court passed that verdict that they should pay them even reparation. They should pay all them. The Nigerian government put an amount of money. So, but I expected the United Nations to even mention that, because that was part of the verdict that the Nigerian court passed about the Nera10.
The United Nations Human Rights Working Group has called for the immediate and unconditional release of the separatist leader Sisiku Julius Ayuk Tabe and his co-accused. The decision was adopted by the Working Group on Arbitrary Detention at its 94th session. According to the UN, the detention of the separatist leader and his co-detainees is arbitrary. Vanessa Mafoking.
According to the document that sanctioned the 94th session of the United Nations Working Group on Arbitrary Detention, the deprivation of liberty of Sisiku Ayuk Tabe, Wilfred Tassang, Ndala Mfo, Blaise Sebidzem, Elias Ebai, Fidelis Ndeche, Egbe Ntui Ogok, Henry Tatakimeng, Arnche Augustin Awarsum, is in violation of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights as well as the International Convention relating to civil and political rights and is therefore arbitrary. Similarly, the UN Working Group says that the rights of the Nera10 leaders have never been respected, neither by the Nigerian nor the Cameroonian governments. The group recounts that Ayuk Tabe
surprise onto this CRT reporting on this.
On the 5th of January 2018 at Nera Hotel in Nigeria, detained under inhuman conditions and forcefully deported to said in Cameroon. During the first 6 months of their detention at the Secretariat of State for Defense, the UN
this is the first time that the CRT is reporting on something about the honest reporting from the CRTV. Thank God. God has been working.
Lizards and so on. They were not let out of their cells that had no windows or ventilation except on few occasions in the middle
the government will say they cannot report
night
this.
for interrogation. The UN regrets that despite a ruling by the Federal High Court of Nigeria in 2019
They just report to where the United Nations
and exploitation of Sisiku and Co. was illegal and that the individuals should be returned to Nigeria, the Nigerian government is yet to react. The same applies to the Fundi High Court in Yaoundé that reportedly threw out the habeas corpus on behalf of the 10 Nera leaders without a hearing. All efforts by the UN to have the Nigerian and Cameroonian governments react on the state of detention of Sisiku, Ayuk Tabe and Co. have been futile. The 10 were sentenced to life in prison in 2019 by a military court for secession and tourism.
Vanessa Mafokeng reporting in heard the fifth phase of the
They were sentenced to life in prison. They were sentenced to life in prison just for being Amazonians. They had asylum status in Nigeria. But that is what happened. So you see how La Republic is barbaric, because they are using these. They thought that by arresting these leaders, it will quell the struggle. But now they were surprised that from Seseko we had Sako, we had Marianta. Now we have President Chris. So the governments are there. You from one government to another. Okay, the arrest of Seseko will never stop the struggle. Okay, but it's that instead arouse international concern. Okay, it has instead aroused international concern, and that is why now we thought that the United Nations was not working on this, but to our greatest surprise, they are working on it. Okay.
Fellow Southern Cameroonians, good afternoon. Nami Sama Thomas, and today, na the 17th of November 2022, we may make this audio, and my time for you na 2:22 p.m. for afternoon. I applaud the decision of the United Nations Human Rights Council for demand from La Republic the release of Julius Ayuk Tabe. But the United Nations Human Rights Council, it failed. Let me put it in English. But the United Nations Human Rights Council failed to understand that it is not only Ayuk Tabe Julius and the Nera10 that are in La Republic dungeons. We have more than 10,000 Southern Cameroonians in La Republic dungeons, from Bamenda to Bafoussam, Boya to Douala, Yaoundé to Kusiri, Ngandere to Marwa.
Absolutely. We have more than 10,000 prisoners of war.
Adamawa and Ibolova. The United Nations Human Rights Council must send a fact-finding mission to come into all La Republic prisons to find out who are the detainees in those prisons. For the least Southern Cameroonian that is languaging in La Republic dungeons must be released and not on the Nera10. We are happy if the United Nations is going to do that. And again, we are warning ahead of time that the release of Ayuk Tabe, this is going to the fighters on the ground and to the United Nations. The release of Ayuk Tabe cannot mean a negotiated settlement and will not cause for a ceasefire on the ground. The only thing that can cause for a ceasefire, so far as the people of Southern Cameroon are concerned, is when the United Nations will deploy a peacekeeping mission in the Southern Cameroons to create a buffer zone between the Southern Cameroons and La Republic of Cameroon. And those soldiers must be stationed along
That's
the
a good
border
idea
between the Southern
because the
Cameroons and
peacekeeping
La
mission
Republic of Cameroon.
can create a
And
buffer
not in
zone.
the hinterland
That's a good
of the Southern
idea.
Cameroon. Let me repeat this again. For Southern Cameroons to respect a ceasefire, it's not going to be because of the release of Ayuk Tabe and the over 10,000 Southern Cameroonians that are languaging in La Republic's jail. Before we will ever respect anything called a ceasefire, the United Nations must deploy a peacekeeping mission in the Southern Cameroons that will create a buffer zone between the Southern Cameroons and La Republic du Cameroon. And those peacekeeping soldiers should be stationed at Bonaberi.
I think our comrade is talking a very important point there about the creation of a buffer zone. You know, it happens in any war, in any situation of a crisis, okay? Because the United Nations has that role. There's a Department of Peacekeeping. There's a Department of Peacekeeping force in charge of that, to create buffer zone where the warring faction will go back to their barracks. Then the United Nations will take over to create that ceasefire peace. Then they can take over in certain areas. Okay, that is what our comrade is saying, and he's correct, because that's the role of the United Nations in any country. Okay.
And all their weary, hungry, triggered elements of evil called terrorist soldiers must have left the Southern Cameroons. Then, on that day, the people of the Southern Cameroons will be considering a cease. I'm using the word considering deliberately. We will be considering calling for a ceasefire. If the United Nations fails to do this, even Jesus Christ or God himself in heaven will not convince the people of the Southern Cameroons to lay down their arms because of a ceasefire or whatever. we would disown not only Jesus Christ on that day, but we would disown God himself, that he does not exist, and he's a God of injustice. If God can leave his heavenly throne to come down on earth to tell the people of the southern Cameroons to call for a ceasefire with Latin public soldiers still stationed in the southern Cameroons, then I hope one of that bullet that we are holding in our gun will be fired toward the direction of God, for him to see if the sound of that bullet is a pleasant one to hear. If Christ thinks he can still be sent by his Father, God, to come on earth, to come and tell the people of the southern Cameroons to lay down their arms or call for a ceasefire with a single Republican soldier still stationed in the southern Cameroons, then he will need to go back to the crucifixion to test how bitter, for the people of the southern Cameroons have gone through the anguish which he went through, and even a bitter one than that which he went through. So we are not going to respect anything on earth or in heaven that will fall short of La Republic Cameroon leaving the southern Cameroons completely before talking about a ceasefire. That guarantee must be given to the people of southern Cameroons by the United Nations or by God before we will talk about a ceasefire in the southern Cameroons. Fighters on the ground must not listen to anybody that will dare to call for a ceasefire with La Republic Cameroon administrators still in the southern Cameroon and their soldiers. That particular person is an enemy of the southern Cameroonian people. There are no two ways to it. If it's God that will call for a ceasefire in the southern Cameroons, the soldiers in the southern Cameroons, God is an enemy of the people of the southern Cameroons. There is no two ways to it. Southern Cameroon should take this seriously. For we haven't lost millions of people, as I've said. We haven't lost our villages completely, and our villages, towns, and cities completely razed down by La Republic Cameroon to turn around and call for a ceasefire with La Republic soldiers and administrators still stationed in the southern Cameroon. It's not gonna work. And any soldier that will lay down his arms in the name of a ceasefire because a certain pseudo leader has asked you to do so, you are doing so at your own risk, for that leader will go free and La Republic will come for your head. Sama Thomas.
Good day, sir.
Yeah, good afternoon. How are you?
Fine, thank you. So, please, I have a question for you.
Go ahead, please.
What is your opinion on fuel scarcity in Nigeria?
You see, before I absquatulate, let me abruptly regurgitate my point of view vis-a-vis fuel scarcity. Using my perspicacity and ratiocinations as a compos mentis homo sapient and as an erudite and academic juggernaut, let me delineate the nitty-gritty, the nuts and bolts, and the crinkum-crankum of the status quo.
Now this won't be the exam.
You see, this is not me venting out my garrulity and loquacious monomania in this tete-a-tete. You see, I would never intentionally obfuscate, befuddle, becloud, and bonfuzzle Nigerians in a fog and canopy of obnubilation and ago-bago malaki. Now, let me digress to the crux and focal point of this colloquy. It is dismally lugubrious and dolorously lachrymose that the premium motor spirit, or if you have the proclivity and propensity to refer to it with the layman's nomenclature, which is fuel, is no more ubiquitous. And concomitant to that, the price keeps burgeoning and mushrooming as a corollary to the scarcity.
Just relax.
Now let me demystify and delineate as I pilot and paddle you through this expository legato peregrination of rebarbative rigmarole.
You see why the craze?
See, the government have prefabricated, galvanized and plummeted the economy into a gargantuan cataclysmic hibernation.
What is the meaning of this?
Somnolence and discombobulated economic harmattan that has consequently culminated and catavated into a cantankerous and nefarious ruckus.
If I decide to release this vertical one on you,
the only way to vanquish this elephantine gargantuan quandary is to deracinate and obliterate the maleficent, shonky and mendacious scolligosters and substitute them with dinkum compos mentis homo sapiens. Thank you.
All the French, Germany, Greek, and all these things that you speak, plus your exposure and educational background, I wonder why you have not made it in life.
That is a grammar that we are hearing from La Republique. That is a grammar we are hearing from them. Yes. They have nothing to offer. That is the big grammar we are hearing. But if you can see, you see that guy is not far from the truth, because Nigeria has plunged into that kind of devaluation for all along the years.
The tragedy of Nigeria began in 1986 when we did the structural adjustment program. When we were persuaded to devalue our currency every week for 32 years. When I went to school, and many of you are here, the naira was $1.50. The naira was almost £1 sterling. They came here, persuaded some brilliant men from Harvard and the World Bank that weekly devaluation was wonderful. 32 years of devaluing your currency until we hit 527. And they were still telling us that the naira was still overvalued. That brought poverty, misery upon us. Then interest rates went to 30%.
Wow.
So
32
nobody
years of devaluation.
Start a farm, produce anything, or create jobs. Because every time you bring in a shipload of rice, you also bring in a shipload of unemployment. Because you are transferring your wealth to sustain other economies. Somehow, Nigerians didn't notice it. So we became a nation of importers. Toothpicks. Each year it cost us $18 million. Importing toothpicks. Tomato paste, $400 million. So you talked about tomatoes now. One basket in town now is less than 2,000 naira. The farmers are losing money because the processors don't have enough funds to set up factories. They are going to do tomato paste. It's food-grade stainless steel. You can't just use anything because you'll be putting poison in people's stomachs. 2 factories have started off. I believe by the middle of next year, we can comfortably tell importers of tomato paste to stop. But when you do, you make enemies. Even the rice we're trying to reduce. We have enemies, heavy enemies, people who can kill if they have a chance, because you're spoiling their business. And let nobody take it lightly. These guys have seized this country's economy, they've taken us hostage, and they have no intention of giving up. Because this is a huge market, a very sweet market, and they have taken control. And I'm saying it because I have been in this business for 41 years and I can tell you some history. Abdullah Adamu is here. Import, milk, sugar, toothpicks, toothpaste, handkerchiefs, pencils, we don't make. To cure Nigerians of that malady will take a while. It will take a strong government. That's the truth. And they are not happy that we're cutting down. When we cut down, they lose money there. So you see all sorts of publications. We're telling lies. We're not growing rice. We're trying to demoralize the local farmers and make sure that the economy fails. That's the story of imports. Now, I read a story recently in the newspapers. The French ambassador, the champagne ambassador in Nigeria, gave an article to The Guardian. He said Nigerians love life. We are the biggest consumers of champagne on planet Earth. More than the French who make it. There are parties you attend in some places where the only drink is champagne. Of course, the individual is free to spend his money, but his money comes from Nigeria's Commonwealth. So on imports, it will take a while for us to get used to local goods and accept that we should consume what we produce and produce what we want to consume. So I take your point. We have to take 10 measures to cut down on imports because these young boys and girls who have no jobs today are not going to allow us to carry on enjoying life at their expense. They need jobs. They need jobs. They are children. They've graduated, they've come back home to begin a second childhood because there's no factory to employ them. And the ministries can't take any more. But somebody is making sure you fail.
Wow.
When you want to produce at home.
That is a good one. That is a good one. You know, when we say we need good governance, we need good governance, and good governance come with people with wisdom, people with vision, people with foresight. You know, people who think ahead of time. When you look at the most African countries, most of these countries have become consumer economy. They only spend time consuming. They don't care, and it is kind of like a kind of like very normal. It's a new normal for most people now to think that goods that come from abroad are the best goods. You hear what this parliamentarian is saying? Even toothpick that you do just to remove toothpick, you import toothpick. What can you produce? What kind of country are you building if you cannot even produce one thing? Most of the countries that are producing cars, they don't have any resources. Japan, this Toyota that everybody like, Toyota, or Mitsubishi, Honda, it's from Japan. Japan is producing these cars. Why don't we ask ourselves, why don't we go and study this people's system of doing things so that we can copy that same system of producing our own cars? Why must you be in a consumer economy? You don't produce nothing. Everything is import. It's what we want to change in Ambazonia. We have so many Ambazonians that are engineers. We have doctors. We have people that will come back and do this thing for themselves. We have engineers who can build stuff for ourselves. We can produce stuff for ourselves. We have everything. What do you think that we cannot do? Toothpick is made from timber, from wood. This timber you see like that, we have all kinds of timber. Toothpick, you import. Toothbrush, you import. Things that we can do, we can produce. Open those factories there and build those factories there. It's sad, but we are going to change that. And La Republique is very, very good at that. They don't care. Everything is from France. Oh, like champagne de France, champagne, whiskey, all the things. Everything is from France. They like French foreign greaves. You even shirt. You put this. You want to see a grief. The name there is a French thing. Look at my hat. This is my hat. I made my hat myself. This look at my name there. We have to learn to do our things to produce something for yourself. You must not import things that you can do. You want to import. Make your own brand. Make your name. This is a cap I did by myself. I put my name there. I must not put a French logo there, French or something there that is Let's learn to produce, to be productive economy. You must not buy everything. Yes, at least there are things that we can buy, but we have to limit what we buy and think that we can produce. We produce them at home. It's cheaper when you produce at home. It's cheap. It's cheaper. Okay. It's so sad that way we have people who still think that way,
Okay, just a quick one. My brother them for DDR for Boya. I want drop on this small message.
Every type of these three of the French policy have their function.
We
okay. Sorry. So let's Thank you very much for watching. Yeah, it was nice talking to you, and let's stay positive. Okay, let's stay positive. A lot of things will be happening.